Chris McCracken.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time on that one. What else you got?
The last thing that I have is Herman, our man Herman, who we're just begging for this patch.
Yeah.
He had like a Q&A post on the PlayStation blog, and so I just wanted to hit a couple of the high-level things.
Because he's in charge of things these days.
Yes, he is running PlayStation Studios. He's like I don't know if it's what his title, I don't know if it's CEO or president or whatever, but he runs PlayStation Studios.
Mm-hmm.
So he confirmed that Sony Bend is working on a new IP that is being built off of a lot of the open world systems that they had built in Days Gone, but he didn't say like it is a Days Gone 2. So, but it's nice to know that Sony Bend is like, okay, they've got a new IP coming on, because he did mention at one point how there's 25 other new IPs, you know, kind of being worked on right now. So that's definitely one of them. And then he did talk about how it's still very much important to PlayStation to be building games that are for PlayStation 4 as well. It's like 110 million PS4s out there.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
So, like, yes, they're still an important thing to us. And so this is the quote that he had. He said, where it makes sense to develop a title for both PS4 and PS5, so Horizon Forbidden West, which we did already know that, God of War, the next one, and then Gran Turismo 7, which, funnily enough, had been in marketing material as a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So apparently that's being gone back on. It says we will continue to look into that. So, look, again, going back to my whole financial talk with the other topic, I get it.
Yeah.
There's 110 million plus PS4s out there. There's not that many PlayStation 5s out there. And then you add on the fact that they've been supply strained, there's even less than they probably would have wanted to have out
there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it from a financial standpoint, but I can't help but be a little bit bummed about that. So essentially from Sony, and there's only going to be one first-party game that's PS5 exclusive, and that's Ratchet & Clank. You could also talk about Demon's Souls, because that is PS5 exclusive as well, but Blue Point Studios is not an exclusive studio. That's second party. And so then Horizon, and again, I'm sure it's going to play best on PlayStation 5, all this kinds of stuff. I understand that. But with Ratchet and Clank, that game can't be played on PS4 without drastically changing how the game plays.
That's right.
That's what I want. I want these things that I couldn't get, and the reason I got my PlayStation 5. I have no doubt that I'm going to play and love Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok. I've even been curious about jumping back into, I haven't played a Gran Turismo in forever, but it's like, this might be the time. I have no doubt they're going to look and play best on PlayStation 5. But essentially, all they're going to be is better resolution and better frame rate, which is good. But that's really going to be it. I was really hoping God of War, and it would just bring me something that I can't get elsewhere.
Chris, just because you brought up the numbers, don't look it up. But if you were to guess, do you know how many PS5s have been sold?
It's like 7.8 million or something like that, right?
7.8 million. Wow. And when you put that number next to 110 million, as a business, you're like, of course we're going to make it for the PS4. Like, it's not even close. Yes. We have not sold even 10% of these. And the Xbox Series X is 3.94 as of
They also
March.
have two, though. Does it say anywhere what the Series S is?
This says on the Xbox side of things, this is VG charts. Reports that Series X and S has sold a combined of 3.94
I don't trust
million.
that.
I don't either, but I did hear a long time ago that Sony was at 2-1, pretty much going as so 7.8, 3.9. You know, that's around that. That's around that. So.
Yeah, and I get it too, and it's just like, but this is one of the things where
I just want to bring up the actual number because then we can like see for ourselves, like as much as I'm the same way, and I think freaking Cyberpunk is the poster child of this. Like, this thing can't do that no more. This thing can just make it for this, and they're like, yeah, but we're trying to sell 30 million copies of this. Not actually that many, but you know what I'm saying? They're like, we want to sell into the tens of millions of copies of this game. We can't do it on a console that doesn't even have 10 million consoles out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it's tough.
Like I said, I totally get it from a financial standpoint. I understand why they're doing it. But I do think at the same time, you do have to be like, okay, Sony, you said during that July before it launched, we believe in generations. It's like that was pure marketing hogwash. That's literally what it was, and you can't paint it any other way. That was not accurate. Now maybe your opinion changed, but it changed doggone quick. So you have to have your feet held to the fire a little bit that like, well, you kind of just sold us a bill of goods when it comes to that part of it. Now, again, I love my PlayStation 5. I'm going to keep playing the thing. Like I said, I'm going to enjoy these other games. I just really wish at the very least, God of War was, I was so looking for, I don't know, something crazy. I don't even know what it is. It's like, wow me with the new that only this thing can do. That's really what I want.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Totally.
Speaking of loving your PlayStation 5, one of my DualSense controllers has started to drift already.
What?
Really?
Yep.
Oh, really?
That seems fast.
Yeah. And
like really bad, like you stop or you start up the game or whatever and it's like,
not quite that bad, but it's like, it's
like
enough
when you're on the main thing, is it going whoop, 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 like choosing other boxes?
Not like that, but it's like when like in Overwatch, if I pull up my gun to shoot, it's immediately to the left of the target. It's like, oh, come on.
Ooh.
So it's, after all the trouble I had with the DualShocks, I was like, at least they'll have a new generation. They'll fix it. Oh, they won't? Okay, go.
You had a lot of DualShock drift problems too?
When we had the DualShocks for a while, but when we had to start replacing them, I would say we bought 4 of them in the last 2 years, and within 3 months, they were all drifting.
Oh, my gosh.
Yikes. I don't know, man. I got to knock on every piece of wood in this room because drift, I never had any problems with on any of my things. Even my light switch, which I was really concerned about because they did a breakdown. They're like, it's the same thing as the Joy-Cons. So I was like, oh, no, this is going to start drifting. And it's still fine.
Yeah.
The thing that I had problems with on the DualShocks was the sticks would wear down, and I'd have to replace them.
Yeah.
And I guess I blame that more on me than I must be more on it, doggone it, than I realized that I was.
But I hear the opposite from people. Like I've got the exact same Xbox One controllers. It's never had, and then I'll talk to some people, and they'll say my Xbox drifts, my PlayStation controllers never did. So
I'll say that too. Granted, I only had the one controller, but my Xbox One controller never developed an issue either.
Yeah.
That I know of.
I've never had any drift out of my Xbox or my PlayStation controllers except on Cyberpunk. When I played Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's right. You said that.
I remember you saying that.
Yep.
Just slowly up.
So the one last little factoid I wanted to say from this Q&A is he spoke a little bit more about how PC fits into the PlayStation worldview. And he said that we're still in our early planning for PC. He did say that Horizon Zero Dawn sold really, really well for them. They considered it very successful on PC. But he did go on to say, I want to emphasize that PlayStation will remain the best place to play our PlayStation studios at launch. But we do value PC games, and we'll continue to look at the right time to launch each game. He said, Ben Studios just released the PC version of Days Gone on May 18th. So that's about 2 years after the PS4 release. And then he kind of left it at that. So I think that you can kind of surmise from that at least the planning at the moment, as we showed a little bit ago, no matter what they say, it can change.
Right.
But I think that shows, and based on history so far, I do think that you can think, okay, if a game launches on PC and it's on PlayStation, and it's a first party kind of thing, like it's a PlayStation Studios game, you can probably think, okay, if it is going to go to PC, we're probably looking at 2 to 3 years before it does. I don't really have, honestly, even if it went down to a year, I'd be fine with that personally. That doesn't really bother me so much. It's the whole day and date thing that I'm like, you're really screwing up your messaging if you do that. So, I don't think that that's what they're going to do.
I don't think there's any way to say PlayStation is the best place to play these games if you release them to PC on the day they come out.
Yeah.
Well, his quote specifically was, remains the best place to play our PlayStation Studio titles at launch.
Yeah.
And I know,
because
that's
again,
that's what I'm saying though. If it's at launch, if they launch simultaneously to PC, then if you got a banging PC, you're gonna be playing it better than you're playing it on the PS5.
Yeah, but I take this as just Herman saying the things off the cuff. I don't take this as like official line towing. This is our
feel
statement.
you, but you gotta remember, in his position, you don't get to say things off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if I say something off the cuff under Married to the Games, it's about Married to the Games. You know what I'm saying? And so
I would agree with you, I would agree with you, but Jim Ryan said on a thing, the head of all of it, we believe in generations. And then that turned out to not be true at all.
Yeah.
So
maybe he does believe in it. He just can't say no to the money.
I mean,
That's
maybe.
true. He believes it exists.
I believe
Yeah.
in generations too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, because my grandfather's a different generation than me.
Yeah.
I totally believe in generations.